Steve Harvey quietly paid for this homeless man's college tuition and then invited him on the show. This incredible act of generosity transformed the life of James, a man who once felt invisible in a world filled with dreams he believed were unattainable. In a journey marked by despair and hope, James's story is a testament to how a single act of kindness can spark profound change. Stay with us as we explore how one moment of compassion can illuminate the darkest paths and inspire us all. In the heart of a bustling city, where dreams spark like fireworks yet often fade into the night, we find James, a man whose aspirations lie buried beneath layers of hardship and disappointment. Once an eager student, he had dreams of becoming a teacher, inspired by the educators who had shaped his life. But now, as he sits on a cold park bench, he feels like a ghost haunting the edges of a world that has moved on without him. The sun casts long shadows across the pavement, and the laughter of students celebrating their graduation resonates in the air. Each cheer is a reminder of the opportunities he missed, the aspirations he let slip through his fingers. James watches them with a heavy heart, his spirit weighed down by the relentless grip of despair. The vibrant colors of their caps and gowns stand in stark contrast to his drab existence, amplifying his feelings of inadequacy and isolation. Once, he had been full of hope and ambition, but the harsh realities of life had dimmed that light. The weight of his circumstances pressed heavily on him. The days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, each passing moment filled with a sense of futility. He feels invisible, just another face in the crowd, overlooked and forgotten. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the city, darkness begins to creep in, not just in the sky, but in his heart. The chill of the evening air bites at his skin, but it pales in comparison to the chill of despair that has taken residence within him. He reflects on the choices he made that led him here, haunted by the ghosts of his past decisions. The dreams of teaching, of inspiring young minds, seem like distant stars, flickering just out of reach. Just when he thinks all hope is lost, the shrill ring of a phone breaks the silence of his solitude, reverberating through the stillness like a beacon in the night. Startled, he fumbles for his phone, heart racing as he answers. "Your college tuition has been paid in full," the voice on the other end states, each word resonating with a clarity that cuts through his fog of despair. Who could have done this? The shock of it all sends his heart racing. He struggles to absorb the magnitude of this moment. Could it be true? A wave of disbelief washes over him. For a fleeting moment, he allows himself to imagine a life where he could return to school, a life filled with purpose and possibility. The thought feels foreign, yet intoxicating. As he clutches the phone, hope flickers to life within him, a tiny flame igniting in the darkness of his life. This act of kindness is a lifeline thrown into the turbulent waters of his existence, pulling him back from the brink of despair. But as the initial thrill subsides, another question emerges. Who is the mysterious benefactor behind this incredible act of generosity? With his heart pounding and a mind racing with possibilities, James resolves to uncover the identity of the person who has given him a second chance. Little does he know, this journey is only just beginning, and the course of his life is about to change in ways he never imagined possible. The air buzzed with an electric energy as James clutched his phone, the voice on the other end still echoing in his mind. "Your college tuition has been paid in full?" He struggled to comprehend the implications of this news. For months, he had felt trapped in a cycle of despair, his dreams overshadowed by the harsh realities of life. But now, a door had swung open, revealing a glimmer of hope that he hadn't dared to imagine possible. In the days that followed, James found himself caught in a whirlwind of emotions. Each morning, he awoke with a mixture of excitement and trepidation, his heart racing at the thought of returning to school. He envisioned himself stepping back onto campus, walking through the familiar halls filled with the sounds of students engaged in animated discussions, the smell of fresh books, and the palpable energy of youthful ambition. The memories flooded back. Late nights spent studying, the thrill of learning, and the joy of sharing knowledge with others. Yet, alongside this hope, doubts crept in. Why would someone, a complete stranger, pay for his tuition? What did they expect in return? Despite his uncertainty, the prospect of education reignited a flicker of ambition within him. He began to research local colleges, poring over their programs and imagining what classes he might take. Each click of the mouse felt like a step closer to reclaiming his future. He spent hours filling his days with thoughts of textbooks, lectures, and the chance to inspire young minds. Still, the question of his benefactor lingered in the back of his mind, gnawing at him. Who could it be? Then, one evening, as he sat in a dimly lit diner nursing a cup of coffee, lost in thought, his phone buzzed again. This time, it was a text message from an unknown number. "You're invited to be on the Steve Harvey show. We want to share your story." His heart skipped a beat, and disbelief washed over him like a cold wave. Was this really happening? Was this an opportunity that could change everything? Or could it be a cruel joke, a prank designed to toy with his hopes? James felt a rush of emotions, excitement, fear, and exhilaration swirling within him. He had watched Steve Harvey on television countless times, admiring his charisma, humor, and ability to connect with people from all walks of life. The thought of sharing his story in front of millions was both thrilling and terrifying. What if he stumbled over his words? What if his story fell flat in front of such a vast audience? The fear of failure loomed large in his mind, a shadow that threatened to overshadow the light of this incredible opportunity. Yet, deep down, he knew this could be a pivotal moment in his life. This was not just about him anymore. It was about spreading a message of hope and resilience to others who might be struggling, just like he had. With a deep breath, he typed a response, his fingers trembling with anticipation, accepting the invitation. In the days leading up to the show, James prepared himself mentally and emotionally. He rehearsed what he wanted to say, practicing in front of a mirror. He thought about the struggles he had faced, the overwhelming moments of despair, and the unexpected kindness that had reignited his dreams. He wanted to convey not only his gratitude, but also the importance of compassion and connection in a world that often feels disconnected. His story was not just about him. It was about the power of community, the strength found in vulnerability, and the impact a single act of generosity can have on someone's life. As the day of the show approached, he could hardly contain his excitement. He envisioned himself standing on stage, the bright studio lights shining down on him like a spotlight of opportunity, and the audience hanging on his every word. It was a chance to inspire others, to show them that no matter how bleak life may seem, there is always a glimmer of hope waiting to be uncovered. Finally, the day arrived. James stepped into the television studio, his heart pounding with anticipation and nerves. The set was alive with bustling crew members, the hum of cameras, and the vibrant energy of the audience, who were eagerly awaiting the show to begin. As he took his place on the stage, he felt a mix of nerves and exhilaration. This was it. the moment he had been waiting for, the opportunity to share his truth with the world. When Steve Harvey walked onto the stage, the crowd erupted in applause, a wave of sound that sent a rush of adrenaline through James. He felt a rush of admiration for the man who had unwittingly changed the course of his life. As they exchanged greetings, Steve's warmth and genuine interest put him at ease. "I hear you have quite the story to tell," Steve said, a smile brightening his face, his eyes sparkling with encouragement. In that moment, James realized this was more than just an invitation to share his journey. It was an opportunity to connect with others, to remind them that kindness can change lives, and that hope can bloom even in the darkest of times. The weight of his past began to lift, replaced by a sense of purpose. With a deep breath, he prepared to share not just his story, but the universal truth that lies within all of us, that resilience can emerge from even the most challenging circumstances. The applause echoed in his ears as James stood on the stage, his heart racing with a mix of excitement and anxiety. The bright studio lights felt overwhelming, illuminating not just the set, but also the path that lay ahead of him. He took a moment, letting the energy of the audience wash over him, grounding himself in the reality of this moment. This was his chance to speak, to share not just his struggles, but also the hope that had been rekindled within him. Steve Harvey stepped closer, his presence commanding yet warm. "Tell us your story, James. How did you get to this point?" he prompted, his voice encouraging. James took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his past and the promise of his future collide in that instant. He began to speak, his voice steadying as he recounted his journey, how he had once been filled with dreams of becoming a teacher, how life had thrown obstacles in his path, and how despair had gripped him tightly. He shared the moments of darkness that had clouded his vision and the haunting loneliness of feeling invisible in a bustling world. But then, he continued, something unexpected happened. A stranger reached out to me in kindness, paying for my tuition, igniting a spark of hope that I thought I had lost forever. He could see the audience lean in, their expressions shifting from curiosity to empathy. As he spoke, James felt a connection forming, a bridge between his experiences and the lives of those listening. He spoke of the invitation to the Steve Harvey Show, the mix of fear and excitement that had surged through him, and how this moment felt like a turning point, a new beginning. "I realized that my story could resonate with others," he said, his voice gaining strength. "I want to show people that no matter how far you fall, there's always a way back. Hope can find you in the most unexpected places." As he shared his story, James noticed the audience's reactions. Some were smiling, others had tears in their eyes. He felt the power of vulnerability and authenticity weave through the room, creating a sense of unity. This was no longer just about him. It was about everyone who had ever faced adversity, who had ever felt lost or alone. When he finished, the studio erupted in applause. Steve turned to him, his eyes shining with admiration. "That was incredible, James. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. You've inspired so many people today." The warmth of Steve's words enveloped him, and in that moment, James felt a rush of gratitude. After the show, as the crew began to pack up, James was approached by several audience members, each expressing their appreciation for his courage. Some shared their own stories, echoing the struggles he had described, and a sense of solidarity filled the air. It was overwhelming, yet exhilarating to know he had touched others with his experience. In the days that followed, James found himself riding a wave of newfound purpose. The exposure from the show led to unexpected opportunities. scholarships, networking with educators, and even offers from local organizations eager to support him in his educational journey. Each day felt like a step closer to reclaiming his life, to becoming the teacher he had always dreamed of being. With every new opportunity, James's confidence grew. He enrolled in classes at a local community college, diving into his studies with enthusiasm. The thrill of learning returned, and he found joy in the process of education, discussing ideas with classmates, engaging with professors, and discovering new passions. Each lecture sparked a fire within him, a reminder of why he had wanted to teach in the first place. One evening, as he sat in his small apartment poring over textbooks, he received another text message from the unknown number. "I saw you on the Steve Harvey show and was inspired by your story. I would love to help you further your education. Let's meet." His heart raced. This was it. The kind of support he had been hoping for. A chance to connect with someone who believed in him. Excitement coursed through him as he replied, arranging to meet the following week. The days passed quickly, and when the meeting day finally arrived, James felt a mixture of anticipation and nerves. He arrived at the designated cafe early, his mind racing with questions. Who was this person? What would they want from him? When the doors swung open, a woman in her early 30s walked in with a bright smile and an air of confidence. "James?" she greeted warmly, extending her hand. "I'm Lisa. I saw you on the show and was so moved by your story. I believe in the power of education, and I want to help you succeed." James shook her hand, feeling a rush of hope. "Thank you for reaching out," he said, his voice filled with gratitude. They sat down together, and as they talked, Lisa shared her own journey, how she had faced challenges in her life, but had always found a way to overcome them through the support of others. Their conversation flowed easily, and as they discussed his goals, James felt a sense of clarity wash over him. With Lisa's guidance, he could navigate the educational landscape, apply for scholarships, and even find opportunities to volunteer in local schools. An essential step toward his dream of teaching. "I believe you have the potential to make a real difference in the lives of others," Lisa said, her eyes shining with conviction. "Your story has already inspired so many people, and I know you can do the same in the classroom." As they spoke, James felt a new sense of direction taking shape. This was more than just about finishing his education. It was about becoming a beacon of hope for others who might find themselves lost, just as he had been. He envisioned a future where he could guide students through their own challenges, fostering a space of understanding and compassion within the classroom. The Yaskar meeting ended with a sense of excitement and purpose, and as James walked home, he felt lighter than he had in years. The path ahead was still uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, he felt ready to embrace it. With each new connection and opportunity, James was no longer just a man recovering from despair. He was a testament to the power of hope and resilience, ready to embark on a journey that would not only transform his life, but also the lives of those around him. As the weeks turned into months, James settled into his new life as a college student. The excitement of learning fueled his days, and with each class, he felt more empowered to pursue his dream of becoming a teacher. However, as he quickly learned, the path to success was not without its challenges. The first major hurdle came in the form of a difficult statistics class. Numbers had never been his strong suit, and as he sat in the lecture hall, the equations and formulas danced before his eyes like a foreign language. Despite his best efforts, he struggled to keep up with the material. Late nights turned into early mornings, filled with crumpled notes and a sense of growing frustration. One evening, after another long day of studying, James sat on his bed, his textbooks sprawled around him like fallen soldiers. He felt a wave of doubt wash over him. What if he wasn't cut out for this? What if he failed? The whispers of his insecurities echoed in his mind, threatening to overshadow the progress he had made. Just then, his phone buzzed with a message from Lisa. "How's everything going with your classes? Remember, it's okay to ask for help." Her words were a reminder that he didn't have to face these challenges alone. Taking a deep breath, he decided to reach out to his professor for assistance. The following day, he approached his statistics professor after class, his heart pounding with anxiety. "I've been having a hard time understanding some of the material," James admitted, his voice shaky. "I was wondering if you could recommend any resources or maybe help me with my assignments." To his surprise, the professor smiled warmly. "Of course, James. It's great that you're seeking help. I can recommend some tutoring sessions, and I'm happy to go over any topics you're struggling with." The professor's supportive response lifted a weight off James's shoulders, reminding him that asking for help was a strength, not a weakness. With renewed determination, James began attending tutoring sessions, where he found the guidance he desperately needed. Slowly but surely, the concepts started to click. As he worked through problems with the tutor, he felt a sense of accomplishment wash over him. He realized the challenges were not roadblocks, but rather opportunities for growth. Just as he began to feel more confident in his studies, life threw another curveball his way. One afternoon, while leaving class, James received a call from his landlord. "I'm sorry to inform you, but I need to raise your rent next month," the landlord said, the words hitting him like a punch to the gut. The news sent his mind racing. James had been living on a tight budget, balancing tuition, books, and living expenses carefully. A rent increase would mean cutting back on essentials, or worse, risking his housing situation altogether. The weight of financial stress threatened to overshadow his progress. That evening, as he sat at his kitchen table, staring at his budget spreadsheet, he felt overwhelmed. But then, he remembered the community resources Lisa had mentioned in their earlier meetings. With a sense of urgency, he reached out to a local nonprofit organization that offered financial assistance and counseling for students in need. The next day, he met with a financial advisor who helped him navigate his options. They discussed potential scholarships, grants, and even budgeting techniques that could ease his financial burden. "Remember, many students face similar challenges," the advisor reassured him. "You're not alone in this." With renewed hope, James applied for several scholarships, pouring his heart into each application, eager to secure additional funding for his education. The process was taxing, but he persevered, driven by the desire to create a stable foundation for his future. As the semester progressed, James also found solace in his volunteer work at a local elementary school, a commitment he had made with Lisa's encouragement. Each week, he spent hours interacting with students, helping them with their homework and engaging them in fun educational activities. It was in these moments that he truly felt alive, his passion for teaching igniting with every smile and spark of curiosity he witnessed in the children. The experience not only reinforced his desire to teach, but also provided a much-needed escape from his academic and financial pressures. The children looked up to him, and their enthusiasm reminded him of his own dreams. In return, he found a sense of fulfillment that made the struggles worthwhile. However, as the semester drew to a close, the weight of finals began to loom over him. The stress of balancing his coursework, financial concerns, and volunteer commitments intensified. One night, after studying for hours, James felt the familiar grip of anxiety tightening around him. What if he didn't perform well on his finals? What if all his hard work went unnoticed? In that moment, he reached out to Lisa, sharing his feelings of overwhelm. "I'm really struggling with everything right now," he confessed, his vulnerability spilling out in a flurry of messages. "I'm worried about my grades and my financial situation. It feels like too much." To his relief, Lisa responded almost immediately. "It's okay to feel overwhelmed, James. You've been juggling a lot. Let's meet up and talk it through. You're stronger than you think, and I'm here to support you." Their meeting was a breath of fresh air. Sitting across from Lisa at their favorite cafe, James opened up about his fears, and she listened intently, offering advice and encouragement. "Remember, it's okay to take things one step at a time. You've already overcome so much," she reminded him. "Focus on what you can control and let go of the rest." With her support, James devised a study plan for finals, breaking down his workload into manageable chunks. He prioritized his studies, but also made time for self-care, ensuring he didn't burn out. The day of the first final arrived, and as he walked into the exam hall, he took a deep breath, grounding himself in the moment. He recalled Lisa's words, reminded himself that he had prepared as best as he could. With each question he answered, he felt a sense of empowerment building within him, a testament to his resilience. When the semester finally came to an end, James felt a mix of relief and anticipation. He had faced challenges he never thought he could overcome, and as he waited for his grades to be posted, he reflected on how far he had come. With every obstacle he had faced, he had grown stronger, more determined, and more aware of the support system around him. The journey was far from over, but he was ready for whatever lay ahead, armed with the knowledge that he could face any challenge that came his way. The end of the semester arrived, bringing with it a wave of emotions. As students flooded the campus, exchanging stories of their finals and summer plans, James felt a sense of anticipation mixed with anxiety. He had worked tirelessly, overcoming obstacles that had once seemed insurmountable, and now it was time to see the fruits of his labor. The day the grades were posted, James sat in front of his computer, his heart pounding in his chest. He had promised himself that regardless of the outcome, he would celebrate his efforts. As he accessed the student portal, his hands trembled slightly. With a deep breath, he clicked the link, and the screen filled with a familiar grid of grades. His eyes scanned the page, and when he saw the results, a wave of disbelief washed over him. He had achieved straight A's. The joy surged through him like an electric current, igniting a fire of accomplishment and pride. He couldn't help but smile, a broad grin spreading across his face as he let the reality sink in. All those late nights, the stress, and the moments of doubt had led to this triumph. In that moment, he felt a profound sense of gratitude, not just for his grades, but for the journey itself. He thought of Lisa, his professor, and the children at the elementary school who had all played a part in his success. Each person had contributed to his growth, and he knew he didn't walk this path alone. To celebrate, James decided to host a small gathering with his closest friends and mentors. He invited Lisa, his roommate, and a few classmates who had supported him throughout the semester. They gathered at a local pizza place, laughter filling the air as they exchanged stories and reflected on their shared experiences. "Cheers to James." Lisa raised her glass, her eyes sparkling with pride. "You've worked so hard, and you deserve this moment. I can't wait to see where you go from here." The clinking of glasses echoed the sentiment of camaraderie and shared achievement. As they enjoyed their food, James felt a renewed sense of purpose. He was more determined than ever to continue his journey toward becoming a teacher. The realization washed over him that he was not just pursuing a career, he was on a mission to inspire and uplift others, just as he had been inspired. The conversation flowed from plans for the summer to dreams for the future. "What's next for you, James?" one of his classmates asked, curiosity shining in their eyes. James took a moment to consider his response. "I want to focus on gaining more experience in education," he said, his voice steady. "I'm looking for internships or summer programs that will help me learn more about teaching and working with students." Lisa nodded enthusiastically. "That's a great plan. There are several summer camps and workshops where you can get hands-on experience. I can help you look into them." Their discussion sparked a flurry of ideas and possibilities, and by the time they finished their meal, James had a renewed sense of direction. He left the restaurant that night with his heart full of gratitude and excitement for the future. As the summer approached, James dove into research, exploring various educational programs and internships. He applied to several summer camps focused on literacy and mentorship, eager to gain practical experience in the field he was passionate about. Each application felt like a step closer to his goal, and he approached the process with enthusiasm, fueled by the momentum of his recent success. Weeks passed, and as he awaited responses, he continued volunteering at the elementary school, where he had cultivated meaningful relationships with both students and teachers. Each day in the classroom reinforced his desire to teach, and he thrived in the vibrant atmosphere of learning and growth. Then, one afternoon, as he was helping a group of fourth graders with their reading assignments, James received an email notification on his phone. His heart raced as he opened the message, a mixture of anticipation and hope flooding through him. The subject line read, "Summer Internship Acceptance." With trembling hands, he read the email, and as the words sank in, a wave of elation washed over him. He had been accepted into a summer internship program at a local literacy initiative, an organization dedicated to helping underprivileged children improve their reading skills. This was the opportunity he had been waiting for. A chance to make a direct impact on young lives while honing his skills as an educator. That evening, James called Lisa to share the news. "I got the internship," he exclaimed, unable to contain his excitement. "I'll be working with kids on their reading skills this summer." "Congratulations, James. I knew you could do it." Lisa's voice radiated with enthusiasm. "This is a fantastic opportunity, and I'm so proud of you. You're going to make such a difference in those kids' lives." As the summer approached, James felt a sense of purpose and excitement that he hadn't experienced before. He envisioned himself in the classroom, guiding students through their reading journeys, igniting their passion for learning, and showing them that education could open doors they never knew existed. The first day of the internship arrived, and James felt a mix of nerves and exhilaration as he stepped into the classroom. The walls were adorned with colorful posters and student artwork, and the chatter of excited children filled the air. He was greeted by the program director, who introduced him to the other staff members and gave him a brief overview of the program. As the day unfolded, he observed the interactions between the teachers and students, soaking in the atmosphere of encouragement and growth. He assisted in organizing reading activities, helping students pick out books that sparked their interest, and providing support as they tackled challenging texts. The joy on their faces as they discovered new stories was infectious, and James felt his heart swell with fulfillment. Over the course of the summer, James formed bonds with the children, celebrating their successes and cheering them on during moments of struggle. He learned to adapt his teaching style to meet their unique needs, discovering the power of patience, creativity, and encouragement. The experience solidified his belief that teaching was his calling, and he felt grateful for every moment spent in the classroom. As the summer drew to a close, James reflected on the transformative journey he had embarked upon. He had faced challenges, celebrated victories, and discovered the profound impact of education. The internship had not only deepened his commitment to teaching, but it also opened his eyes to the importance of compassion, understanding, and mentorship. When the final day of the program arrived, the students presented a small farewell ceremony to express their gratitude. As they shared their favorite moments and what they had learned, James felt a lump in his throat. The connections he had formed with these children were priceless, and he knew that he had made a difference in their lives, just as they had in his. As he left the school that day, James felt a sense of clarity wash over him. His path was becoming clearer, and he was ready to embrace the next chapter of his journey. The challenges he had faced had only strengthened his resolve, and he was more determined than ever to pursue his dream of becoming a teacher. With a heart full of hope and a newfound understanding of the impact he could make, James stepped forward into the future, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead.